we'll just have to play that by ear by which one. I mean, I ideally would think that'd be part of your well-being check, but I know some of y'all might need to bug out, some of them might be a class. I'm trying to schedule people, that's why with this information sheet, I hope to have a better idea of how to best schedule you all. But if anyone's ever done scheduling before, you know that scheduling is a challenge with people. No matter what I do, no matter what input I get, somebody may not be happy. So, or someone just is not available. And that's okay. This is a fluid thing. If there's some people that you know that might be a good fit for the team, or greeters or whatever, because, and that's another thing, just because you're assigned to this, if you still like wanted to greet or something, the next, say your care team on the first service, and the next service you want to greet, that's up to you. If you want to do that, because I kind of have, like I said, police officers are police officers, but they're specialized units. So care team is a specialized unit, trying to make sure that we're keeping things fluid. We're in contact with the facility manager, because I've got people coming to me now about spills on the floor, toilet's not working. So when you have that vest on, and that's kind of what we do want, you're gonna be like the person that they come to, and that's what we want. We want people to feel comfortable, and those are the people that you come to when they have a question. Keep a bulletin with you. They might ask about a class. That way, if you know the nomenclature of the building, hell yeah, that class is up here. Check out the website. I still know the website and see where classes, because now the classes have started. Pretty much, I think everything is back in swing. A lot of classes and a lot of small groups took a break in August. That's what we traditionally used to do. And then for a while, we were just running through everything, because I think people were just, with COVID, they wanted to do something. And then now we're back to the whole, okay, COVID's over, now I got 1,000 things to put on my calendar, and I want to do this, that, and the other. So those are the things that, like I said, we need to think about. Any questions so far about what I've said? Is it I try to keep it simple. We're just like, whatever is needed for the pastors, whatever is needed to help the greeters and ushers, we're there. Whatever we need to help with the people attending church. Little kids, they come up, and like I said, the little girl came up with a lost dog. Someone came up to me about they lost their car keys. I mean, those are the type of things we're going to start hearing. Or I locked my keys in the car. That one, I used to be good at that when I worked at the mall, but I can't do it with the new cars. There used to be some grandma new mom used to lock her keys in their car. First, we had to find the car. That was always a joy. 2 hours to try to find the car. And then once we found the car, trying to get in there, it's locked, Oh no, I must have locked my keys in the car. Okay, grandma new mom, stand by. We're going to sit here and try to, first sign this before I damage anything. But, so, yeah, those are the things. We're just like keeping it simple. So as you go back down through here, as we get to the positionings, Overwatch I call it, which is the cameras. One of the leaders should have it up and running, because it does take a little bit for the computer to come up. But once you get the computer come up, there's different little squares on there, and some of you have already done it. You can show some of the new people, or I can show some of the new people or the team leaders. You have the different squares, which means there's different views. In other words, there's so many cameras that Stillman has, but let's say Stillman has 30 cameras. I can bring up all 30 cameras. I can bring up one camera. I can click on one view. I can actually, zoom in. If there's something all of a sudden, there's someone's kind of like maybe snooping around. Maybe they're opening up the handles on the door. So if that's happening, then we want to call the police. Now, I'm going to eventually reach out to Northern Regional and kind of let them know that this is kind of what we're in the works. Because if something does happen like that, I don't expect you to engage them. But if it's something we see and it looks shady, we need to call the police. And we need to call police. Most of the times they're up here on Sunday at the middle parking lot. What Living Word does, Living Word has a kind of an agreement, and the police kind of hang out during the church service, both services or services that they have. I don't know. Northern Region's always been really good to us. They did the overall security kind of overview probably over 5 years ago, which is why we made some of the changes in childcare to kind of lock down those wings a little bit better. I love what they do. They have the Ring doorbell there, so you can't, at a certain time, you can't get in until you access that, and you can actually see who it is. We have, our entranceways are open. during the services. That's why I think the overwatch position is so crucial. We're going to play that one by ear. I know, like, what I have done when I do it, I'm sitting out there. I have the service up on my phone or on my computer, and I'm sitting there the whole time because I really feel we're vulnerable at that particular time because everyone's in the service or everyone's in the class, and those hallways are empty. You don't know who is coming in and out of bathrooms or who's hiding in the bathroom and stuff like that. That's why I say shutting that door would make someone who comes in and wants to do some mischief, they got to at least come up and try to get in past where the ushers and greeters are or where we could be positioned, as opposed to having direct access to come in and come right out. I don't expect you all to be Rambo, RoboCop, or anything like that. Okay, our job is to report, our job is to get the proper resources here in a timely fashion. We're not engaged in anything. If I do something, I do so as a Joe Q citizen. I'm not representing the church in that aspect, but I rely on my training. My training case in. We had that guy that was a problem. He had to be ejected from our property last year. I accept everything. I told my superiors what I did, but I'm out of my jurisdiction. I'm Joe Q. But I'm not going to stand by and I'm going to do what I need to do based on how I am trained. You all, I just need you to respond. Let me know what's going on. Let a team leader know what's going on. We are not there. We're not taking people down. We're not doing anything like that. Don't be in your kung fu stance. You know.
I'll take them down.
You are pretty froggy. You might get them down. They might not even have a chance to go anywhere knowing you. But those are the things that we are not doing anything to put ourselves in jeopardy. We're not doing anything to put the church attendees in jeopardy. We're not doing anything to put liability-wise Still Meadow Church of the Nazarene or Nazarene Church in general in any type of jeopardy. So, and I'm gonna be really honest with you. There's probably a lot of people in here carrying firearms. Here's the thing. I don't know how they shoot. When you know if you have firearm safety, you need to know what your target is and what's beyond it. The last thing I need is an Annie Oakley or a RoboCop going off and doing something crazy. Okay, that's not good for anybody because once that bullet comes out of the chamber, you own it. And like I said, I know there's a healthy amount of people in here that are carrying it, and it scares me sometimes. I'm like, well, okay, let's not go crazy. I don't think they would go crazy, but again, I don't know how you shoot. I have to qualify under stress every year, and I've been doing that for 26 years. I know what I can do. I know what my capabilities are. But I know in here, in a crowd, where that bullet could go through a door or whatever, I wouldn't dare discharge a firearm. Unless there was some really good reason. I had no other choice. But my training has taught me and such. I don't know what everyone else is doing. Still knows, I will let you know, Still knows position on this, on most churches' position on this, they are not going to endorse an armed team, okay? What Living Word does is they have some people that they sign a waiver that they are accepting that liability. Let me tell you, 21st century, it doesn't matter. Everyone's getting sued. You know, it doesn't matter, because then you have to understand, like, what are training qualifications, how often do you train? There's a lot that goes into having an armed team. That is not our function. Our function is, again, report, get the help, retreat, whatever you need to do. I will worry about what I would need to worry about, but I accept that responsibility as my own personal citizen. By the way, I have lawyers that are on duty 24/7 through U.S. Shield, and I have $1 million rider, so I know I'm covered. But everyone else, I'm not going to sit there and endorse. I'm not going to say go ahead and do that. I don't want anyone to be a hero. I don't want anyone to get hurt. We want to make sure that we can get people out or just shelter in place. But as those type of talks need to come forward, which they will come forward, we need to know what we're doing in certain situations. We have extreme storms, or we have a tornado all of a sudden in the middle of the service, blizzards, what we're going to do, how we're going to react. And, our motto in the Sheriff's Office is you train the way you fight the way you train. What's that mean? That means you're going to revert back to your training. So, and you develop muscle memory, you develop all kinds of training, little idiosyncrasies, or whatever you want to call it. And that's why, for me, I will have a lot of training days posted, and I'll probably pick a number like these are mandatory training days that I need you here or these are mandatory group training days because we corporately need to know what everyone's doing and what everyone's job responsibility is. And the pastors need to know who to call on, what to call on, and when to call on it. That's part of CCS. Consistency, communication, and structure. You got to have that, or things get ugly really quick and they crumble. So we talked about the Family Life Center. Parking. We have the Welcome Bash coming up. You know, that's pretty much they park the cars and get the cars in. So once the pastors kind of come up with their operational plan, I will talk to them and see where it is, how many people I need, for how long. Oh yeah, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for putting together that packet too. So we'll go over that. We've had a really good time, and again, that's another outreach thing. Sometimes you have people that are coming in. Now, I believe they're doing things, well, the trunk or treat is always outside. But there's the Easter surprise that was outside, and I think they did some things inside. But Pastor Rachel is really good, detailed about putting that stuff together, and the pastors are really good about, like we did with the Welcome Bash. We had an operational plan, we had multiple meetings, making sure that everyone knew what their role was. And I think that's important when you're outside and you have a large group of people, because like, right, Nate, we were running around. As soon as we were dropping someone else off, someone else was calling us to come back up and get them. So the radios. So now, these are Midland two-way radios, and I don't know if some of you are familiar with using these type of radios or two-way type of radios, but the way ours are set up now, it took me a while, but it's called a privacy code. And what do I mean by a privacy code? So sometimes if you just don't have this privacy code on, other transmissions who are on this channel bleed over to our transmission. So putting a privacy code on locks these group of radios, so all the radios, including the one that Facilities has now, has this privacy code now that's engaged. So that means I can hear you, but I can't talk in and interfere with the group on this channel. We operate off of channel 1. So like during the Welcome Bash, there's this little kid, he's a cute little kid, but he was talking and was coming across here. But now that we have the privacy code locked on, people can't bleed over to that. And you know, you never know. If all of a sudden something gets busy, and as our trainings go, we might go to another channel for like something else. You know, something else is going on. Like, or if we get a bunch of facility people, maybe facility is operating on one channel, we're operating on another channel with the ushers and greeters and whatnot. That's down the road. That just depends how we're doing. Right now, we're kind of phase 1, which is kind of the building phase, just kind of getting people comfortable with what's being asked of them, things of that nature. So today, I have, since you all showed up, guess what? It's like Oprah. You get an earpiece, and you get an earpiece, and you get an earpiece, and you get it. So we got more earpieces like this. The church has the ones that actually kind of stick in your ear like CIA. They're okay. To me, they're a little annoying. This right here seems to work pretty good. It covers your ear. And we were kind of thinking like, that way people, but then I'm like, I think it's going to be better if everyone has their own earpiece. And then that way we're not worried about any type of sanitation issues. So they're not that much. So they're like, I think it works out to $5 an earpiece. You get them on Amazon. So I have enough right now, definitely to cover you.
You already gave me one.
Right, so if I already gave you one, you're good. But you all are going to get earpieces. So when we're inside the Family Life's worship center, and you want to have the radio just to be listening, because the Overwatch position has to have a radio, because they are the eyes and the ears, and it's in the packet here. They are the eyes and the ears of this team when I have someone in those positions. So, like, all of a sudden, if someone comes to you and says, hey, the toilet's broken, and next thing you know, there's water coming out of the women's restroom, and we need to call Facilities, hey, we got a problem, blah, 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 blah. Or, heaven forbid, the little kid got lost, can't find mom and dad for whatever reason, blah, 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 help them there. Or, maybe we have an emergency, maybe it's up here. And that's another thing we have to cover, and this is be part of the training. the ambulance needs to come up here. We need to make sure that someone's up here that's directing the ambulance, because you could tell them the address, but they still may not, because this one's like 500. I think the parking lot's 450, and then the church is 400. Is how it goes, and that's because Pastor Kent told me that at the Welcome Bash Day. I was like, oh, I didn't know that the parking lot had its own designation. So yeah, so this is 500. The parking lot is 450, and the main church building is 400. Did not know that until the Welcome Bash. But those are the type of things, because you run into this where the ambulance may not be familiar. Let's even come to the church building. Maybe the medical emergency is at entrance D. So we need to make sure that we're flagging down the ambulance and telling them, hey, you need to go around at entrance D. There's someone going to be waiting for you. They're wearing red. They're part of our care team. But that's going to come with our cohesive training to get people understanding where we're at. Right now, like I said, I've been kind of looking at this stuff. I've been walking through this stuff one-on-one. I'm going back to some things that I've learned during our trainings, because we have to train quarterly at the jail for emergencies and evacuations and things like that. So some of what I am building here with this is based on my experience and time, the stuff that we're doing with the jail, trying to get, because you have 300 people, 300 inmates, plus another 100 staff, trying to get them out in a timely manner and something. We're trying to make sure the ambulance comes to work, because the ambulance, they come to the address, but they may not know, okay, so I need someone to be at the second floor, maybe I need someone to come around, someone to be the cutoff person and say, hey, I need you to go up the driveway here to the back. There's going to be someone else in red. You need to meet them. They're going to show you exactly who the person is that needs the medical attention. Those are the type of things we just need to start thinking of. Because there's a lot of, I forget about this every Sunday too sometimes. And I started thinking, like, man, we say well-being check, but it's not necessarily has to be inside the church, because we have classes going on. And in these classes, you could have 30 or 40 people up here